Habari za asubuhi, habari za mchana, habari za jioni. Brothers and sisters all over the world, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Kakas and dadas all over the world. And yes, I am talking to each and every one of you all over the world. All right, the name of this channel is The African Times, and I'm Thomas. Welcome back, everybody. In today's broadcast, this is the broadcast of Talk Back with Thomas. Talk Back with Thomas. And in this broadcast of Talk Back with Thomas, what we try to do is answer questions submitted or comments made by viewers about some of the videos that we've done. And in this broadcast of Talk Back with Thomas, we're going to answer a question that was raised by two viewers, Christine McDonald and Ismail Oways. Christine McDonald and Ismail Oways. And both of them had a question about the land prices. The prices of the land, when we go out and we look at land that's available for purchase and we do a video on it, they were asking what are the prices of the land, and one of them said we would get more viewership. It would be more helpful to the viewers if we included those prices. So I wanted to talk a little bit about that today and explain to you a couple of things. First, those are good questions and good comments, and our intention really was in the beginning to list all of those prices. But then we had to take a moment of pause and not really list them until we were certain of certain information. So I'm going to try to explain that to you a little bit today. And let me just add too that in the video there is one or two videos where if you go to the back end, you'll see a graphic at the end of the video, and one of them I think in the middle, where we did list some prices. And we kind of tell you the prices, T shillings and versus dollars. So you can kind of see the breakdown of what the T shilling which is the Tanzanian money, and then what that would be in US dollars. We also tell you plot size, things like that. So if you want that, some of that information is there. You can go back and look at a couple of those videos. But your question is valid and it is right. We could have listed it more and made you more aware of it. But so let me tell you why we ended up not really doing a great deal of that. What we discovered when we first started looking at land, we had to find out how to look at it. And here you have what's called dalalis. Dalalis are people that perform the same function much like a real estate agent in the U.S. And I'm not sure about other places what they call them, but real estate agents or dalalis, people who take you to land or to a home that's for sale. And in many cases in the U.S., a real estate agent can either be a buyer's real estate agent, someone who's trying to buy land or buy a home or buy a business, or they can represent a seller, someone who's trying to sell their land, sell their home, or sell their business. And the real estate agent would represent that person and go out and find either a buyer or a seller. And then they would, when they find the buyer or seller, they tell the buyer or the seller the price of the property, the home, the land, the business, whatever. And it's usually the price set by the owner. And the owner may consult with the real estate agent, but in either case, they come up with a price. And then that's the price that's listed. You can look on a website, you can look anywhere, and even if you run into the real estate agent is supposed to tell you what that price is. Now, the Dalalis here in Tanzania that we ran into, they operate the same way. But when it came to putting the prices on YouTube, we pulled back a little bit because of this experience I'm about to tell you about, which was we went with some Dalalis and looked at some land, and we were surprised. We got a price we didn't know. We said, okay, great, that's the price, and we were moving on. But we ended up being taken back to the land again with a different Dalali. And when we went back to the land again with a different Dalali, it was someone else with us in our group, on our team, and we ended up meeting the owner at the land. He happened to be there, and so at this point we had enough experience where we kind of let the person that we were with go talk to the owner, because we didn't want to have the price inflated because we're American and not American. Not American. You understand, from America. And so the owner was talking to someone on our team, Tanzanian person, and the owner told the Tanzanian person what the price he was looking to get. And that price was dramatically lower than the price that we were given by the Dalali. And so once we discovered that, we realized we may need to be very careful and check all the prices we had been given, because in most of those cases, we weren't talking to the owner, we were talking to the Dalali. And the Dalali had raised the price a little bit, quite a bit actually. Now, I have to add this part to it. I don't have any problem with the Dalali. See, here's where we have to get into what's happening to all of us. We're all together. That Dalali really isn't against me. He wasn't trying to necessarily cheat me. The Dalali is operating from a principle, a mindset, profit, capitalism, an economic idea that has been placed in the minds of the people. And this is very important to understand, because we have a lot of people out here who think that they're just doing everything on free will and this is what they're doing. Well, you have to understand, whether you consciously or subconsciously do it, you're still operating from a principle of maximize the profit on each transaction, on every business deal. Now, not everyone does this, but the great majority of it, so that it becomes ingrained in the culture. So then, rather than offering us the price that the owner was actually looking for, the Dalali saw an opportunity to make a greater profit for himself. Okay? Because he's still getting paid by the owner in the process. Dalali gets, I think, if we buy the land or whatever, Dalali gets 10%. I think that's what it is. And I could be wrong. You guys can let me know in the video. But he gets 10%. Now, we're supposed to pay 10%. Now, he probably got to deal with the owner, too, where the owner pays him a certain amount. And that's a decent amount of money if you get a nice sell. But the reason they'd raised the price, it's not so much that they're against me as coming from another place. They've been given propaganda from the W's that we have money. And in some cases, it appears that we do, but we don't. We're here in the same situation. We don't have money like that. What it is the white, the W, European, American, Western, I'm giving you all of their little code words for them. They have decided in their world order, their social order, their economic order, that their money, their little paper, is of greater value than the paper of people that don't look like them. And that's us. We don't look like them. And in their order, they've decided that the arrangement of this value of currency, we're at the bottom. People that look like me and you at the bottom, all in between. Now, I'm telling you this because the Dalali is following that economic ideology, probably unknowing. He doesn't mean to do me any harm, but oh, it's business, and you can get it. You got the money, you can make it. Just go in there and make the money. So that's okay. If we have to educate our people that we should have a different economic ideology, a different economic approach, one more accustomed to our situation currently, one that could be based on our economic relating to one another in the past, and find out all the good things and the benefits of that, and then bring all that forward to the present and then project it into the future for our children and our posterity. This is what was supposed to take place. But because we found out that occurred, we couldn't put prices on the videos because we didn't have the accurate information. Then we went, now remember that Dalali that showed us that Dalali was acting as an individual, representing an individual owner. The next thing that we ended up learning about and going to was to get with a company, like a real estate company. And this company would buy large tracts of land, and then they would chop it up into various plots, get it registered with the government, and then you come and you can buy those plots. And the company lists the price of the plots on their website, on their Instagram, or wherever. So now you're getting the price from the company, and when the Dalali who works for the company to take you out, they're just telling you the prices that you can see. And those were the ones that in one of the videos that we put up, those prices that we could see, that we felt most comfortable was coming from a reliable source, because we didn't want to mislead the people and mislead people and tell them certain prices and things like that. So that Christine McDonald and Ismail Awais is the response to your question. We were trying to protect the accuracy of the information and protect the information that we give to you guys, and we're still doing that. So as we go forward, and we're at that stage where we're really looking for land, because we have to have a headquarters. We have to have a headquarters for the business. And speaking on that, just to touch on that, we will never, in any way, knowingly violate any Tanzanian law. We love the Tanzanian people, the Tanzanian government, the African people all over the continent. We love and respect them. We understand the position that they are in, just like we as individuals are in. We have a group of people who established world dominance economically and other ways, and they're at this stage in time in control of many facets and aspects of our lives. Yours, mine, the government's, everybody. So we understand that. So we would never do anything like that. And I have to tell this because we got a comment early on, and good Tanzanian brothers and sisters were cautioning us, and notifying us that we're not allowed to purchase land, and they mean well. They're trying to protect their land, and they should. Good for you guys. We need you to do that. Thank God for that. There's some misunderstanding as if we were selling land. We're not doing that. We never do that. It's not what we're doing here. So I wanted to clear that up. It's not what we're doing. So even for some of our viewers who may be under that pressure, I want you to be aware that no, we aren't selling land. We're showing you the land that we're looking at, so that it can educate you on what land prices are, what the process is if you come and You have to go through this experience. And remember, we're going through it. You're seeing it live. We're learning it as we go. Okay? So, yeah, that was it. That was the other thing. So, again, that's why we don't have any prices. And only when we're certain that it's the actual price from the owner will we give it to you. Now, I just want to touch one last thing here. Remember that there's an economic driver, an economic motivator for the behavior of people when they do business together. The propaganda promoted by the capitalist system, the W ideology of, this is business, it's not personal, and you can do anything in business because the bottom line is to make a profit. Well, that's a very harsh and erroneous approach to business activity, because we're all individuals sharing the earth, trying to survive and live, and you don't have to have at the basis of each of your economic transactions profit as the main goal. The main goal should be the well-being of the people and the society, and the welfare of the future of the society, not select individuals who get rich and wealthy on their own while everyone else suffers and starves. Even, let me make sure you guys understand. I'm going to do a more detailed video on it, so remember, coming later. But all these people who tell you they invented these great and wonderful things, and so because they invented these great things, these things that changed the world, cell phone, computer, what have you, television, radio, whatever, airplane, it doesn't matter. They're telling you as individuals they deserve all of this wealth. This is capitalist. They're telling you these individuals, because of their efforts and what they've done to change society, they deserve all of this great money. These individuals didn't do this on their own. They're not some great genius. You have to understand, in order for you to build a cell phone, you had to utilize all of the technology prior to the development of the cell phone. That means all of the other information gathered, collected, analyzed, assessed, put together, previous inventions, step by step, leading to the ability to be able to manufacture and build and develop this new item. All of that had to be used to get to the new item. So you didn't invent it. No, you shared in the technological advancement of that thing. So if you're going to talk about who deserves wealth for it, everybody does, because everybody contributed. Even the individuals who didn't contribute by engineering, by inventing, but just the user. Do you understand? The user. Let me give you an example so you understand. Me, I'm a user. I'm using this cell phone to make this video. Okay. Well, they're tracking all of the information about me using this device. How I used it, did it work, what happened when I did this, how many minutes did I do it, well, what was the time frame, am I talking to a person or sending a video out in this location, is it going far? And then they gather all of that data, and they use that data to make improvements in the technology, to develop new technology. So even me, indirectly, I'm participating in the development of new technology. You too, we all are. So then we should all benefit from the wealth obtained from that technology. Now, that's just reasonable common sense. But the W's, through their propaganda and through their capitalist ideology and approach, are telling you, no, it's that individual, that W dude that's been working in the garage by himself, quit his job, dropped out of high school, dropped out of college, and became some great genius. It's the same story they tell you over and over and over and over and over and over again. Okay? But no, we should all come together. We should all work together. The Dalali should make some money. The owner should make some money, but it also should be a fair transaction for the purchaser. Because the purchaser has to survive. What good does it do if everything that you do, one person gets rich, you become poor, now you can't even sustain the thing you bought? So we have to come together and understand it's a communal relationship that's most beneficial to people, a social relationship, economic, that's most beneficial to people, to all of us. Great wealth by one person, great wealth by one person leads to destruction of all of us. You see, if a person makes cars and sells you cars, and this is actually a very, very famous story that had been reported. Henry Ford, those of you know about the Ford Motor Company in America. Supposedly, this is the propaganda they tell us. He revolutionized how automobiles are produced because he made them commercially. He manufactured large volumes of them quickly through the assembly line process. So anyway, he was selling a lot of cars. And this is the story they tell. And the accountants come to him and they go, hey, look, you know, you can make more money, you know, if you automate and you get these robots and these computers or whatever. Back then it was machines. You get them and you can make more cars. You don't need as many employees. So when you get rid of them employees, your profit's gonna go up. And he's like, oh, okay, all right, because he's listening to the people, capitalist accountants with this ideology. Now remember, when you you fire the people who work for you. You fire them. They got children, families, homes, schools, businesses. They got things, the grocery stores in the neighborhood. You fire so many people, the local grocery store, they losing money. They can't come buy the food. So now they got to fire their people. And it just trickles down in that way. Okay? So Henry Ford, or whichever Ford it was, said, okay, this is the story they tell. So he goes, okay, yeah, let's get rid of them. And they keep doing this over and over again to where all of a sudden they notice that car sales are going down. And he calls them back in a meeting and he's like, hey, what's going on? We're losing profit. The cars aren't selling. And one of the guys explains to him, well, you know, when we got these machines to do the job that the people used to do, and we let those people go, well, you know, those people used to buy our cars too. So we ended up getting rid of all them people. They can't buy the cars. Now the car sales went down. You see? Bite the hand that's feeding you. This is what they did. This is capitalism. And this is what you're seeing happen on a large scale. You take all of the manufacturing out of one location. You move the manufacturing to another location where you can pay the people lower wages. Well, when you got rid of those jobs at the first location to move them to the second location, the people in the first location, they cannot buy your products anymore because they don't have a job. Capitalism works that way, and it moves around. They call them markets. They move from one place to the next place to the next place like little parasites. Use the people up, use the resources up, make a few people rich, and then leave everybody and go to the next group until there are no more groups to go to. And everybody's poor and suffering. And that's what you find today. That's why there are uprisings all over the world. In all of these countries, people are tired of being exploited and used and then made it to suffer. They got little code words for austerity and all this kind of stuff. So understand we have to have a different philosophy. And it comes from us as people. When you relate to each other economically, remember, make a little money for yourself. Make a little money for the owner. Make a little money or make it a little easier for the purchaser. Think African people. What's best for African people. Not the African individual, but the African people all over the world. Us. Okay, all right. So Christine McDonald and Ismail Awais, I hope that answers your questions. And look forward to talking to you all again. Thanks for watching this episode of Talk Back with Thomas. Uhuru. Uhuru. Uhuru.